A man stood at the border between the United States and Mexico, holding a tape recorder that did not exist. It was not in his hands. It was not in his car. He had spent 4 days searching the city of Nogales for one, the right machine, the right speed, to play a set of lectures he had carried 1,600 miles. He had found nothing. One man who owned the machine he needed refused to sell it at any reasonable price. The search was over, and it had failed. And then he stopped looking through the eyes of a man and started using the law. He sat down. He closed his eyes, and in his imagination he took the machine into his own hands and carried it through the border crossing into Mexico, the one place he most expected to be stopped. He felt its weight. He carried it through customs. No tax, no challenge, no official questioning his right to bring it across. He simply possessed it, completely, at the exact point where he had feared he could not. Within the hour, he walked into a small jewelry store to ask one last time. The owner said something strange. A customer had left a machine with him, not for sale, just left there, in case the owner ever knew someone who might want it. The man asked to see it. It was the exact machine, the exact speed, everything he had been searching for. Tonight I am going to teach you what he did. Because he did not find that machine, he assumed it in a precise way, in a precise place, and the world arranged itself to deliver what he had already taken in imagination. And then a few days later, he used the very same method to save his own life. He told me his full story, which I will share tonight. And then I am going to give you the exact tool he used, precisely explained, so that you can use it as well. Here is the part most people get wrong about assumption, and it is the reason their imagining produces nothing. They imagine the thing they want, they picture it, they want it harder, and then they go back out into the world and keep searching for it through their senses, through the eyes of a man who does not yet have it. That is the error. You cannot search for a thing and possess it at the same time. Searching is the activity of a man who does not have. Every hour he spent looking through the city was an hour spent confirming the assumption that the machine was not yet his. The looking was the problem. The looking was a prayer for absence, repeated all day long. What he finally did was the opposite of looking. He stopped trying to find the machine in the world and took it, fully, in imagination. He did not picture it sitting on a shelf somewhere out there, still to be located. He felt it in his own hands, possessed, already his. I know what is rising in you. You have imagined the thing you want, vividly, for weeks, and it has not come. So either this does not work, or it does not work for you. But ask yourself what you were actually imagining. Were you imagining the having, or were you imagining the wanting? Were you holding the thing as already yours, or were you picturing it at a distance, still to be acquired, still out there, still not here? Because those are two completely different assumptions, and the world obeys whichever one you actually occupy. Now, there was a precision in what this man did that I do not want you to miss, because it is the difference between an assumption that holds and one that collapses. He did not simply imagine owning the machine. He imagined carrying it through the border crossing into Mexico. And you have to understand what the border meant to him for this to land. At that time, Mexico placed a 100% import tax on goods brought across. If the machine was worth $200, customs would charge him another $200 to bring it in. The border was not a neutral line on a map. It was the exact point where he expected to be stopped, questioned, and charged a price he did not want to pay. It was, in his mind, the single place where the whole thing was most likely to fall apart. And that is precisely the place he chose to imagine succeeding. This is the craftsmanship of assumption that almost no one practices, so follow it closely. An assumption does not collapse in general. It collapses at one specific point. the point where a part of you still expects to fail. For him, that point was the border. So instead of avoiding it, he went straight to it in imagination, and he imagined passing through it cleanly, carrying the machine across, no official stopping him, no tax, no question of his right to have it. He took the exact moment he feared most, and lived it as already won. Whatever you are reaching for, find that point, the moment in the sequence where some part of you expects the obstacle, the price, the rejection, the closed door, the person who says no. That is not the moment to imagine around. That is the moment to imagine through. Take the precise scene where you expect to be stopped, and inhabit the version where you pass through it, as though it were the most natural thing in the world. Occupy the end at the exact place you feared it could not be reached. And then he did something that proves he had understood it completely, because the second time his life depended on it. He and his wife had gone ashore from a small boat onto an island. There had been no wind when they anchored. They looked up, and the boat was a quarter-mile out to sea, carried off by a sudden, enormous wind. He went in after it. The tide was against him. He was tiring fast, and the boat was moving faster than he could swim. By every physical measure, he was not going to reach it. He was, in plain terms, beginning to drown. And here is what he did before he gave a single further stroke. He stopped, and in his imagination, in the water, exhausted, the boat receding, he took the little boat and anchored it safely back on the beach. He performed the whole thing inwardly. The boat secured, the crisis already over. He did the end first in imagination, before he committed his body to a swim he could not win. Then a wave he could not account for lifted him up, an enormous wave, rising under him from nowhere. At its crest, raised high above the water, he saw a small motorboat with 3 men in it. He shouted. The wind carried his voice toward them. They turned, reached him, pulled him aboard, recovered his boat, and brought him back to shore. He could not have made it through effort. He told me so plainly. The effort was failing. What reached him was not the swimming. It was the assumption, the end inhabited first, the rescue felt as already accomplished, and then a world that rearranged itself, down to the rising of a wave, to deliver the end he had already taken. So here is the tool. This is what he did, and you can do it tonight on anything you are reaching for. First, stop searching. The moment you notice yourself looking for the thing, hunting for it, straining toward it through your senses, recognize that the looking is the assumption of not having. Set it down. Second, take the thing into your imagination as already possessed, not pictured at a distance, held in your hands, yours now. Feel the weight of it, the way you would feel a real object you already own. Third, and this is the craftsmanship, find the one point in the sequence where a part of you still expects to fail. The price, the closed door, the person who might say no, the moment you brace for. Do not imagine around it. Imagine straight through it. Inhabit the scene at that exact point, passing through cleanly, as though the obstacle were never there. The man went to the border, the place he feared most, and imagined crossing it without difficulty. You go to your version of the border and do the same. And then stop searching, but do not stop living. This is the distinction almost everyone misses. After he took the machine in imagination, the man did not sit at home waiting for it to appear. He still walked into the jewelry store. He still asked. But he asked as a man who already owned the machine, not as a man desperate to find one. The searching had ended. The action had not. He moved through the world from the end, not toward it, and the door that opened was one he could never have planned to knock on. The man did not get the machine by looking, and he did not survive the sea by swimming. In both cases, the effort was failing. In both cases, he stopped searching, took the end in imagination, precisely at the point where he feared it could not be reached, and then moved from the end rather than toward it. The machine and the wave came to meet him. You have been looking. Stop looking. Take it into your hands tonight and carry it straight through the one place you fear it could be stopped, as though nothing could be more natural. And then let the wave find you.